Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. How are you? So many beautiful faces. Oh my goodness. I'm so chuffed to be here. You know what? I think we need to just start by warming the room up. So, when I say girl up, you say girl power. Girl up, girl up, girl up. Ooh, everybody came ready. You guys understood the assignment. So my name is Vimbai Mutinhiri Ekpenyong, as I've already been introduced. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but I found myself here in Nigeria almost 8 years ago. How did that happen? Well, I'm going to tell you. Are you ready for some real talk today? Have you had enough of aspire to inspire and if you follow this, then it will be like this? Are you tired of that? Are you ready for somebody to actually tell you the reality of what it is to try and chase your dreams, to become somebody who understands your struggles because they're real with themselves about the fact that they went through the same struggles? Are you ready for that talk? Thank you very much. On that note, so I decided one day that I'd fallen in love with media. And my parents hated the idea because what they thought media was, women parading themselves for male attention in general. That's how they felt. So they didn't like the idea. But I loved it and I knew that that wasn't what I was trying to do. I knew I loved storytelling. And at the time, I didn't know much about it, but I just knew that it got my attention. Something about telling stories just lit up something in my heart. So that's the first place we're going to start. It's self-discovery. What is that thing that gets you excited? What is that thing that keeps you up at night and you don't know why, but you just love it so much. You can't get enough of it. Don't ignore that thing. That's the first step you have to take. Pay attention to that thing and dig deeper. Get to know more about that thing, right? So that was the first step. So anyway, I eventually, I digressed from the path that my parents wanted me to take, which was more along the lines of banking. And I decided to go into media. Now, I'm a Christian. I'm sure we have a number of religions here. But I used God as my guide because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody helping me. All I had were my prayers and my conversations with God. But when I finally got to the place where I was asked to audition, and I knew nothing. As a television presenter, I was asked to audition for a television show. And if I speak to the people who were my bosses then, they said that they thought maybe I had some type of Indian background because I used to talk like this all the time. So they're like, this girl, you know, there's something about her. She's raw. We can work with it, but there's something about her. And do you see the connection? That goes back to that thing that I told you earlier, that there's something that gets your attention. There's something you just love. There's something that just creates fire in you. And isn't it funny that people just call it that something? So we talk about the something that gets your attention, right? Then you go to an audition or an interview and they say, there's something about that girl. That's something, you know? So when I took that opportunity with everything in me, that's lesson number 2. When you get to that point where you have a breakthrough with the thing that you love, don't disgrace the people who saw potential in you. Work your butt off. What does that mean? It means you go to work. If you're working, you go to work. After work, you're going to school. If it means you're staying up all night to study, you're studying. If it means the extra money you have, you're buying data, you're buying whatever you need so you can stay up on YouTube all night to study and learn from the best. I watched endless videos of broadcasters around the world. That's all I would do. I didn't have a social life. I didn't care about too many things. I just wanted to be really good at what I do. Because you know what? When you're really good at what you do, Nobody cares if you're black, white, Nigerian, Zimbabwean, Christian, Muslim, wearing a wig, natural hair. Nobody cares. Because of what? That's something. What is your something? Ask yourself, ask your neighbor, what is your something? What is that something? Put some sauce in it. What is that something? When you walk away today, you might not know what that is right now, and that's perfectly okay. I was 24 when I finally, figured out what that something was. So it's okay not to know what it is. That's fine. It's part of the fun. It's part of self-discovery. But the most important thing is for you to stay focused. Now, getting to telling stories on social media. Social media na marketplace, as in better markets. Like, there is anything and everything available to you on social. Whatever you are looking for, you will find it. Am I wrong? Whatever you're looking for, you will find it. If you are, and what it does, what it does is that it projects whatever is inside you as well. You know, with AI and everything happening right now, sitting in your groups, you could have a discussion about something. Have you found that when you get home, you now start seeing adverts about the things you talked about earlier in the day? This is where social media is right now. So it projects whatever's inside you. So if you're insecure, you're probably going to gravitate to pages that are going to amplify your insecurity. If you feel inferior, you're probably going to gravitate to pages that are going to amplify your inferiority. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to curate your own social media experience. What does that mean? Go through the pages you follow, the people you follow. Why do I follow this person? Okay, when this person posts, what does it make me feel inside? You have to ask yourself that. Because you'll find that maybe 80% of what you follow doesn't make you feel good inside. And I go back to this idea of feeling something, remember? Because your purpose, the thing you're created to do, the thing you're going to excel at, the thing that's going to bring you before kings and queens, it makes you feel good inside. So if you're now following a narrative on social media that doesn't make you feel good inside, it's one of two things happening. A, it's not for you. B, you are supposed to be the change that you want to be, to change that thing from bad to good. For example, right now, everywhere is all about Israel. So many pictures and videos, even if you're not looking for it right now, you're seeing the war in Israel, right? And you have to ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Okay, what can I do about it? Now, not everybody is going to be drawn to activism over the war happening in Gaza. Some people are going to feel like, you know what? I want to be a part of helping the humanitarian crisis. Some people will feel that way. Some people will feel like, how did this issue even come about? Let me read about it. So you have to pay attention to what everything makes you feel, right? Now, once you've done that, and you've curated a beautiful experience for yourself on social media, you've unfollowed the people who make you feel poor, you've unfollowed the people who make you feel ugly, you've unfollowed the people who make you feel like you can never ever measure up, and you start to follow the people who make you feel like, but that could be me on that stage one day. You start to follow the people who make you feel like, even if it's fashion, there's no superficial, there's no whatever. If you see fashion pages and you say, I can see myself getting an award from the president in that very dress, I'm going to follow this page. Very important. Very, very important. And then from there, what do? You now bring the conversation back to yourself and your what? Your something. Because it's now your turn to post, right? It's now your turn to create a story. What is your story? So all of us are a story, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you're taking part in your story or not, we are all a story. And one thing that every story has is it has a narrative. Now, where is your narrative coming from? When I say narrative, that word means the, the idea that people get about something. So, I'm going to walk around the room just now, so get ready. Whatever your story is, what idea do you think people are getting from it? And are you in control of it? Now, it's okay if you're not in control right now, but it's time for you to start getting in control. Let me give you an example. I have a niece who is now 19 years old. At the time I discovered her Instagram page, she was 15 years old. And what she'd done is she had initially had a page that we all followed. And she abandoned that page and she went and opened a private page, as people do these days. Anyway, she doesn't know that her auntie can also do Gen Z things. So I also went and got my own little burner account. She didn't know it was me. And I followed her private page because I wanted to know, why are the gates locked on this page? And when I went in, she had lots of pictures of, she's a beautiful girl, but she had a lot of suggestive pictures. She was showing a lot of skin, she was often dancing, and so forth. So my first question to her, when I came across it, is I said, I'm not going to judge your fashion choices, and I'm not going to judge whether you want to dance on your Instagram or what you want to do. But what I want to ask you is, why did you feel like you had to keep this private? Something in you obviously felt like what you're doing isn't right, or what you're doing isn't acceptable. Or something felt in you that we're going to get the wrong idea from what you're posting. That's narrative, right? What's your narrative? What idea are we getting? And it's not just about what we post. It's from the moment we walk into a room, we shake somebody's hand and we say hello. Somebody has already gotten an idea about you. They've crafted a narrative about you. How intentional are you being about what people think when they first meet you? From the way you shake their hand, do you make eye contact? Do you greet? You don't need to be wearing expensive clothes, but are they at least ironed? Are they clean? Are your nails, you don't need to have expensive nails, are they clean? Are they, what is that narrative? It just starts from there, from your personal brand. Because how are you going to convince people about your passion about your work or your passion about your activism if I look at you and I'm not convinced that you can even tell me a convincing story about yourself? So you first have to work on yourself before you start trying to save the world. Which is why we're here, because we can do that. Girl up, girl power. Girl up, girl power. So I'm going to walk around the room now because I want to find out what each of you feel your personal brand is about, what your mission is, and how we're going to tell those stories. Okay, do we have any volunteers to start, or should I just throw somebody under the bus? Who wants to tell me what they are about first? Okay, do you know what? I think let's do this. Let me do this in a very, very easy way. Let's ease us into this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the Girl Up organizers, to the big sister. Please, can you stand up? I'm sure everybody knows your name by now. But what I want you to tell us is, what do you stand for? And how are you telling that story?
Okay, thank you very much. So, my name is Enobo Nkwesin, and I'm the club leader of Girl Up Uyo here in Nigeria. So, I believe when people look at me, they should be able to see that petroleum engineer in the making, and a STEM advocate as well. Somebody that is able to go out of her way and achieve those things that people thought she would not be able to achieve. And a person that is able to make people see that everything is possible so far as they put their mind to it. Thank you so much.
Woo, you guys are gonna have to do better than that. She set the bar very, very high. Now, there's something I want to say, because you know these days we think social media and we start to think about influencers and fashion and music and art. Do you know that even as a petroleum engineer, she can become an influencer on those issues, a specialist on those issues on social media? How is she showing up there? There's so many different ways to do it. Does she want to be the voice of it? So is she going to make videos where she shares cool, interesting facts about engineering? Or is she going to learn how to do graphics on Canva and just post statistics and cool facts daily? So there's a way. You don't have to slay all day to build a social media brand. There's ways to do it. Okay, who's next? All right, I'm getting my exercise on today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Augustina, and I am an ardent advocate against sexual abuse for the girl child. Yes, and then to carry this out, I go to communities and then I educate these girls against sexual abuse. I educate the parents also on the signs, because these parents most times are so busy that they don't even know that their children are being abused under their nose. So I try to educate them on the signs to look out for, and I also teach these girls on how they can stay away from being abused. And to push that further, I provide them with pads, because most times, especially from the local community where I'm coming from, when most girls are menstruating, they stay at home, and then some of them don't even have the money. Like one of them that confided in me doesn't even have the money to purchase that pad, so sometimes they kind of meet people who can assist them to get the pad. And I also try to empower them with some entrepreneurship and leadership skills. That's just basically what I do.
There's nothing basic about that. That's a lot. I want to know, how are you telling your story? Besides being here, I want to know, in your daily life, how are you telling your story?
Okay, I actually post some quotes on social media sometimes, and then I post the signs that some girls who are being abused secretly exhibit. Even when they don't want to talk about it, you can read about it from their body. So I post that on my social media, on my WhatsApp status most times. And then sometimes I share my stories also with people who I feel are in that line, and then sometimes they get to confide in me and speak with me. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you're making the effort now. Do you know how to take it to the next level? So when we are dealing with personal experiences, there's nothing more impactful than seeing myself. So when I say seeing myself, I mean I want to put a face and a name to whatever it is. Now, sexual abuse is something that unfortunately has been labeled as shameful. So part of the work is rebranding it, right? So I would love to see volunteers, maybe ladies in this room volunteering. You write them a script, let them read the script. Let them read the script, do a video, post it on your social media. Now tell me, have you taken your storytelling to the next level? You have, right? So what I'm trying to show is the fact that there are ways for us to tell our stories away from the norm of what we feel this is how it should be. So once you put yourself, because I can see your face, I can see you're passionate about this, I can see you're emotional about it. Now, that's your something. And because you have that something, you're able to create a community around you of people who identify your something and want to be part of building that something. I don't know if am I making any sense to anybody? Yeah? I hope so. I hope so. Can we speak to some ladies in uniform? Yay!
So my name is Shimilori. So just as I've done now, I've just introduced myself, I've said my name, and something like I've been thinking about recently is that my name it means God has done me a favor or I've been gifted, like give me a gift or something like that. So I want to really live up to that name, and I want to show that God really has done me a favor. Everything I want to do, when someone meets me and they're like, oh, my name is Shimlere, and they see all the things I've achieved, they'll be able to know that, yes, this girl has definitely been gifted, she's been favored in life and all those things. I want to be kind, empathetic, like just responsible and like a very good person in general. So I just hope that I'll be able to like do that. Also, I wanted to say you're very pretty.
Thank you. Shemilore, right? Beautiful. She just raised such a powerful point. Character. Character. In my country, we have a song called character. Oh, character. You can have that something. You can be gifted. You can be talented. Doors might open for you left, right, center, anywhere you go. People might say, oh, I have something for you. But character. Character is what makes you, what allows you to stay in those places. When the door is open, character is what makes sure that when you walk through there, somebody pulls up a chair for you, you have a seat at the table. With all your gifts and your talents, without character, without kindness, without empathy, without commitment, without hard work, without... You're going to find that life will be a roller coaster. My mentor used to say something, which was that it's better to actually never succeed at all than to succeed and then fail. Who wants to go up and come down? Nobody wants to do that. But character keeps you up there. So that's a brilliant contribution, Shemilore, and a beautiful name as well. Okay, we'll speak to one more. I think I've been biased. We have 5 more minutes. Am I going to be like the pastor who says, as I round up for the next 30 minutes? It's possible. Very possible. All right.
Okay, my name is Esosa. Based off your question, when people view me, I want them to have the courage to redefine themselves. The person you were in the past doesn't define the person you are going to be in the future. So, yeah, when people view me, I want them to be able to have the courage and braveness to pave the way for themselves and not let anyone else define who they are going to be tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Asosa must be a prophet, a prophetess, because that's exactly where I'm going as my time rounds up now, is reinvention. So you've been through self-discovery, and you go through self-actualization. So self-discovery is you finding that something, right? Self-actualization is you going to people, places, organizations that see that something in you. Reinvention is the next stage that gives you longevity. And that is, how can this something be relevant every day? We know there's so many trends, so many seasons, so many things are changing so quickly, especially now. The trends are moving so fast. Especially for us as women, as young girls, things change so quickly. I mean, just 2 years ago, just 3 years ago, actually, I was single and childless, and now I'm married with 2 kids. That's how quickly things change, right? And the reason why I bring up marriage and children, if that's something that's part of your journey, it's not part of everybody's journey. But if that's something that's part of your journey, then you need to realize that as a woman, those seasons of life will look different compared to men. Have a generally straightish line, but as women, ours is a little bit more colorful. I don't want to say it's bumpy, I want to say it's colorful, because we have so many other seasons that we have to give ourselves to. You know, when you're pregnant, when you're nursing, you can't give all of yourself to your work in those moments. So reinvention. Reinvention, how will my something work for me in each season of life? Master the ability to read the room and say, this is what's needed from me right now. So it's like during COVID, during the lockdown, right? what was needed from us was for us to work from home or to study from home, and we adjusted accordingly. So that was on a global scale. But on an individual scale, sometimes it's financial. Sometimes you're just in a season where the finances are just enough to meet your needs. Does that mean you should stop pursuing your passion and your dreams? No. It just means you sit down with yourself and say, okay, how can I manage with what's there right now? Studies, your advocacy work, all the other work you do, you now ask yourself, okay, I've got exams coming. How can I manage myself during this exam period? If it's content, then be prepared. Create your content way before your exam so that during exams you're just posting, you're not creating. It's reinvention. Or create a new version of yourself that's, this is me during exams. So self-discovery, self-actualization, and reinvention. Master those three, whether you're doing storytelling on social media, whether you're pursuing a career, whether you're actually just building yourself as a person. Those three stages, follow those benchmarks, and I promise you, you will be celebrated. We will celebrate you. We will read about you. We want the invitations. We want the red carpets. We want the accolades. They're all in this room. This room is rich with success. I can smell it. But stay focused. Be smart about it. Work smart. And you will get there. Thank you very much.